Alright then guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought we'd try something different compared to the matchday vlogs that you've all seemed to enjoy over the last couple of months. True to the channel's name, it's not just going to watch the football, because as fun as that is, it's also expensive, which isn't the end of the world, but I just would love to have this channel to let me just talk about and cover a different array of sports. Multiple different sports. So we obviously do the football. I want to do a lot of rugby stuff. I want to do a lot of F1. And I also just want to learn about new sports. So, for example, cricket, where watched a couple of matches, watched the Ashes, watching the World Cup and such, but I don't really understand the sport. So what we could do is we could learn about new sports like cricket, learn about the rules, learn about the history and do stuff like that and upload it to the channel. So it's sort of like we're learning about it all together. But no, today's no different, and even though a lot of you are probably disappointed that there's no matchday vlog or anything, and I know rugby's not the biggest sport for a lot of people, but for me, this is my favourite sport and I love it to bits. And yeah, why don't we just get into what I believe are going to be two of the biggest transfers next season in rugby. We've seen George Martin go to Sarries. We've seen Quins pick up a couple of big boys from Bristol. Oh, it's not too shabby, is it? All the teams have, well, a lot of the teams have either been seeming to bolster their team this season, halfway through. We've just seen Christian Wade make his debut for the Newcastle Red Bulls on the weekend in the European Cup. But I think this probably takes the icing on the cake, which I never thought I'd say this, but Gloucester have absolutely smashed it. I never thought I'd sit down here and do a whole video about Gloucester itself, which theoretically are, but we're not, but it doesn't matter. But they have actually pulled off two of the biggest transfers in rugby right now. And this is for next season, of course, but I just want to sit down, talk about the grand scheme of things of how these transfers are going to be changing the English Premiership, rugby in Wales as we know it, club rugby as well in Wales. So let's get into it then, I suppose. So obviously today being December 15th, Jack Morgan and Dewi Lake have just been announced to play for Gloucester from next season, which is massive. If we talk about the level, especially Jack Morgan and Dewi Lake, as much as I don't like the Welsh in the rugby, because obviously England fan, everyone hates England, I suppose we sort of got to dislike them. I don't actually, for me, they are two of the best rugby players in the world right now, especially Jack Morgan. What I would give for that man to play for this club here. Oh, yeah, the camera's looking good. To play at Quins, it would be incredible. But could he start over Jacqueline Hyde? Yeah, probably. As much as I love Kenners and Webb, I think we've got to find a way if he were ever to come. Which obviously he's not, he's gone to Gloucester, so let's not go over that. But no, right, let's start with a little like sort of facts, but a little bit of stuff around Jack Morgan and Dewi Lake for a lot of people out there who probably don't know who they are. Jack Morgan is the 25-year-old. Let's just say this. He is one of the best back rowers in world rugby right now. And for me, Wales' best player and also current captain with, I believe, 24 caps under his belt, maybe 25. I think 24 Welsh caps, but don't really know. But no, he's started his career for Scarlets, another team in Wales, who we might briefly touch on in a bit, before he moved to the Ospreys, who are his current club that he's leaving to join Gloucester next season in 2021. And he's made 51 appearances so far at the time of recording for the Swansea-based club. Now, most recently, Jack Morgan was named in the British and Irish Lions squad for the summer tour of Australia this year, where, alongside his current international teammate and possibly future teammate next season, Thomas Williams, as long as he doesn't go to Sarries. I'd rather him stay at Gloucester than go to Sarries, because then, probably hate the man even more. No, I'm joking. He's a fantastic rugby player. He is incredible. Now, back to Jack Morgan, who he made 2 test appearances for the Lions over the summer tour. Both off the bench, unfortunately. I think he should have started. I really hope I've got that right. This is where he did start a game and I was wrong and I haven't done enough research. But this is all happening so quickly that I just can't really have enough time. I just want to sit down, talk about it all, and then post it to YouTube, really, which could be stupid, which or not. I haven't really looked much into like the facts and figures of the players. I've just mainly focused in on the effects this will have for Gloucester, for the Ospreys, and for Wales rugby, really. But yeah, he made 2 test appearances off the bench, I believe, for the Lions squad, and even got a man of the match performance against the Reds during that tour. So this man is a beast. He is a beast. I'd put him. Would I put him in my top 15 currently? Yeah. What? Oh, he's good. Oh, he's either starting or on the bench. He's that caliber of player. He's incredible, and it's just a wonder how he's Welsh. No, I'm joking. He is brilliant, but it just makes you think about how Wales are in the situation they were in recently over the last couple of years, which we'll touch on a little bit later. But anyway, now on to Dewi Lake, who is also joining his teammate at both club and country at the Kingholm next season for 26-27. Now, Dewi Lake has been at the Ospreys for his entire career, playing 71 games and scoring an impressive 105 points. That is mental. For a hooker, that is mental in my mind. And he's also won 26 caps for Wales and is also the co-captain alongside Jack Morgan for the nation. So very impressive that Gloucester managed to pick up the co-captains of Wales. I can't believe it. Now, with his 26 caps, it does mean that the Welsh hooker is still eligible to represent his side, despite signing for Gloucester, because in Wales you have to reach a certain threshold of international appearances before you're able to leave Wales and go apply your trade in rugby in a different country. So, for example, as soon as you reach 25, you can go play for Gloucester, like Dewi Lake is doing next season. But in comparison to England, we'll just have a quick one. English players, there is no threshold for amount of caps. If you want to play for the country, you have to play your club rugby in England. So, yeah, interesting how they do it. It's not just, I believe Wales are one of the only sides left to still have a cap on the amount of games you have to play before transferring over to a different nation to play your rugby in, not internationally, just club-based. Whereas England are one of the only clubs left where you can't, if you want to play, you've got to stay in the club, in the country, essentially. But yeah, so enough of the waffle, we'll stop that now. But both of these signings are massive in the grand scheme of things for both Gloucester and for the Ospreys. So I suppose might as well get it started with Gloucester and the issues that this might have for the Ospreys and Wales in a little bit of time. But first, let's focus on the impact that this is going to have for Gloucester in the future and how this can be massive. So, for Gloucester, this has significantly strengthened their pack with 2 world-class leaders and world-class forwards joining them at the club for next season, which is potentially going to shift their future competitiveness, really, in the Premiership. And they're also joining Gloucester alongside fellow countrymen such as Thomas Williams, as long as he doesn't go to Sarries, Max Llewellyn, who I personally love. I think he's incredible. Shame that he's Welsh. I would love them at England, but would they play it? I don't know. But no, Max Llewellyn and Josh Hathaway joining them all at the Kingholm. So this is a really, really big statement of intent from Gloucester to the rest of the league, especially with the on-field impact that Jack Morgan and Dewi Lake are inevitably going to have on the league and to the squad. The duo will definitely immediately elevate the scrum and breakdown for Gloucester, which could be, in my opinion, are some issues that Gloucester have currently, is that they're good, but they're not quite there. They're not quite at that level of a top 4 team, in my opinion. Now, with Dewi Lake's line-out accuracy and Jack Morgan's tackling and turnover work, this is just going to... They're going to become monsters, possibly. Gloucester could become monsters. And you'd hate playing them even more than we already do, especially for a Quins fan. The Kingholm is a great away day. Although last time I went, we did lose 12-0 last season, which was bleak. But yes, Skivington, I've said that right. I've said that right, is it? It's not a hard name to say, but it just, when you read it, it looks a bit tricky. Who is currently Gloucester's director of rugby. He did say that with Dewi and Jack coming in, we've significantly bolstered our pack, adding to the talent that's already here, and we're shaping up nicely for the start of the 2026-27 season. So you can already tell how much of an impact this is going to have to the squad if the director of rugby's coming out and going, yeah, we're going to be serious, essentially. We're going to be serious. So yeah, we can easily expect a much more competitive set piece and more game from Gloucester, hopefully next season, which, as I said, can potentially push Gloucester towards a top 4 push and possibly cement themselves in the top 4 for the next couple of seasons if they do hit the ground running straight away. We don't know, but it will be interesting to see what effect that this will have on Gloucester in the sense of, in the league. So, in the league, we've had these are like really bad little stops and then going, I'm waffling too much. Let's get back to what I've written. But hey, it's not the end of the world. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Don't know. I am. I enjoyed doing the research. So yeah, let's hope so. But yes, so in the Gallagher Premiership so far, we've had 6 different winners over the last 6 seasons, which is impressive. It's impressive. It's not really done a lot. Obviously, we had the Sarries' dominance before they got relegated for breaching a lot of rules, just a lot of salary cap and spending rules. Which, hey, we could also cover in a later video if you guys want to. We could start like looking into some of the biggest scandals and stuff in rugby. But hey, back to Gloucester. So the move for these 2 marquee players really do make you think Gloucester have a lot of ambition. After finishing mid-table last season and not having the best of starts this year, they did beat us just before we went into the European break at home, which that was just a poor game. We started off really well and then it all just seemed to collapse in the second half for Quins. And I believe that was their first win of the season, unfortunately. But you can easily see that Gloucester have been on an upwards trajectory since Skivington came in. They've been a bit faulty at times. They've been a bit slow off the mark, in my opinion, in matches. But yeah, with the signing of the 2 Wales captains and beating out Saracens for Jack Morgan, which is a big coup. It is massive. And it just signifies that Gloucester now have the financial backing. They've got brilliant recruitment. The fact that they can get them to come in. Part of it is my belief of Gloucester being next to Wales. It's easy for them. And that is probably a massive selling point for them. And also, as I've written here, a willingness to exploit Welsh rugby's turmoil currently, which we will get into in just a second. But I do find that interesting. Very, very interesting, the fact that this has all basically happened because of the Welsh Rugby Union, in my opinion. But yeah, so it's just showing how Gloucester can position themselves as a destination for elite talent seeking security from Wales, really. Because I reckon they could get a couple more big boy Welsh players in before next season, possibly. Don't know. Just my thoughts. But yeah. So that's my thoughts on how it's gonna positively affect Gloucester for the next couple of seasons, and hopefully for a lot longer than just a couple of years, because I would love it to see a team like Gloucester compete for Premiership titles and compete for that top 4, because it just makes the league a lot more interesting, even though it might affect us in the grand scheme of things. Oh no. But yeah, we've had a look at how this positively affects Gloucester, but now for the more important parts. So let's just have a look at the negatives that this will have on the Ospreys and also Welsh rugby as a whole. So let's first go into the Ospreys, then to Welsh rugby in a bit. So Ospreys, they've now lost their on-field leadership and 2 of its most marketable assets, with both players having combined over 100 appearances for the club and were central to a lot of Ospreys' recent successes, including a really, really good season in the URC, which is the league that they play in, the United Rugby Championship, which does have some South African teams, some Irish teams in as well. But they reached the semi-finals in 24-25. So they almost won the whole thing if they didn't lose in the semis. Almost won the league. And for a club like Ospreys in this current situation is massive. It is absolutely massive. And it's going to be hard to immediately fill from within the academy or in the current squad, or even just offer the market on players who are at the level of Jack Morgan and Dewi Lake. It is going to be really, really hard for them to do. So, yeah, financially and competitively, this shows the Ospreys' current issues off the pitch, especially as they are one of the 4 Welsh regions rumoured to be at most risk in the current cuts that the Welsh Rugby Union is looking to do. Which I see why they want to do it. I just find it ridiculous that you're getting rid of a region and a club in Wales. I know the money's not there and it's not good, but I don't understand it. For me, I think Ospreys are one of the best, well, they're one of the 4 best teams in Wales, but for me, I just think that there are other deserving, no team deserves to go under at all, but I quite like Ospreys. I quite like the idea of them. But they are probably the newest, I believe. They were founded in 2003, if my memory serves me correctly. So that's probably part of the reason why. But yeah, so what will happen is the club will face a potential merger with the Scarlets, in my guesses, or just straight out just get liquidated by 2028. So with these levels of uncertainty, you can understand why Jack Morgan and Dewi Lake have left now, and a lot more will most likely follow. So yeah, obviously prompting the loss of their star players, as we've seen, as I've just said, but these can also affect sponsors, ticket sales in the short term. While on the pitch, it's obviously going to leave gaps in the pack and will force just a reliance on academy players, which is going to be good. It's going to be good to see these young talents be able to play, but this isn't the situation and how you'd want that to happen. Or they might even just bring in a bunch of loanees if they can from other clubs, just to try and help keep their season on a former track instead of it just derailing the entire thing. And it's just such a big shame for the Ospreys entirely, as it has just ruined. Well, it's just ruined the club, really, all of the things that are happening right now in Wales. So, yeah, speaking of Wales, well, hey, this is a really, really, really bad segue. But what impacts do these exits of Jack Morgan and Dewi Lake have on the current situation of Welsh rugby, really? So, we're going to look more into the disappearance of one of the clubs, one of them getting rid of it, and just have a look at how this is going to affect not only clubs but also internationally in Wales, really. I'm just over-explaining everything, which doesn't need to be done. And you can tell this is all going to be in one take because I want to get it out today. Yes. So, with the plans that the Welsh Rugby Union currently have to go from 4 professional regions down to 3 by 2028, due to the financial unsustainability in the country and a desire to concentrate the talent for better competitiveness at both club and international level, has clearly, as I've said multiple times, created a lot of uncertainty in the country about which of the regions is going to go under, unfortunately. And with the budget strained and the collective regional losses exceeding around £20 million in recent years, I think I read it. I haven't really fact checked it, but that's what I've sort of gauged. And there is no clear timeline for when the club mergers are going to happen, when the clubs are going to go under, what clubs are going to stay. It is looking like Cardiff, rightly so, are going to stay because that is the capital of Wales. It's looking like the Scarlets are going to stay, and it's going to look like the Dragons are going to stay. Personally, I don't know why. I just feel like the Ospreys had a better chance of staying when it all first started happening than the Dragons. But now that I'm looking at it, and the reinforcements that the Dragons made over the summer has made it clear to believe that they actually do have enough belief that they're going to stay competing, really. So there's no reason to why it would happen. God, I am really not on it today in terms of thinking off the top of my head. But no, anyway, back to players like Jack Morgan and Dewi Lake, who are currently above the 25 cap threshold, which would otherwise, as I said earlier, would prevent them from playing and being part of the Welsh selection, which just clearly shows that they are prioritising contractual stability over loyalty to their club sides, which I totally understand because of the way that the Welsh Rugby Union's going. And hey, in the summer, Jack Morgan did say this. It impresses that he's not going to stay in Wales if he's not promised stability, and I think it was something like the Ospreys aren't going to be around. So I totally understand it from their sides. But it is just a bit bleak. It's a bit bleak, isn't it? Honestly. But yeah. I don't know. I was going to say something, but now it's sort of like gone from my head, which is really annoying because it was quite a good point in my mind. But hey, the Ospreys are the most vulnerable team to disappear, as we've said, which is going to probably see them force a merger with the Scarlets to form a single West Wales entity, a single West Wales region. So leaving Cardiff and the Dragons safe. Sort of said that already. But for the national side, the Welsh Rugby Union, I believe, have pledged to adapt the eligibility rules to help retain overseas base players. So just meaning that they're going to scrap the 25 cap rule, maybe put it down to 5 caps or 10 caps, which would make a lot more sense for the players considering the state of Welsh rugby right now. But it's just going to have the possibility of letting more high-profile players possibly leave in the future, and I completely understand why you would want to do that, as they want to keep as many of their top-tier players able to play for them in the future, and especially considering they are currently rebuilding the entire side and the coaching setup, as they should do, after a very impressive 2 years, 18-game losing streak, which they've only just beaten, unfortunately, against Japan in the summer, and then again beat Japan in the autumn internationals, unfortunately, because I was really loving the downfall of Wales. Now, even though they almost beat us twice, well, once 2 years ago, we're not to the last Six Nations, incredible showing from England against Wales at the Principality. Absolutely incredible. Then after the South Africa battering that they had a couple of weeks ago, it just seems to get from bad to worse to, oh my God, why are we still playing rugby? To then, hey, look at that, we're out of this. We're out of our losing streak. And then, oh no, we lost. Oh no, we lost. Hey, we won. Oh no, we just got battered. It's quite funny. It is quite funny. As an Englishman who doesn't want Wales to do... I don't want any of the teams to do well, really, apart from England. And that is the tribalism and the supporting of your country. But hey, I've waffled on long enough. So overall, these transfers are massive for Gloucester and in the future. But it is also going to clearly and obviously and rightly will leave Ospreys fans facing the anxious limbo whilst they await for Welsh rugby's decision on which of the regions are going to go, which is now looking like Ospreys are going to, because you wouldn't expect these players to leave at this point if they were miraculously going to stay. But it would just be interesting to see how much more of this will happen for a lot of the Welsh stars, and if they're wanting to retain all the world-class talent, especially during what they're in right now, and how poor it's going to be for Wales in the next couple of years, unfortunately. But fortunately. But yeah, it's just incredible for Gloucester. Really, really disappointing, and it just feels like it's put the last nail in the coffin for the Ospreys in terms of survival. But yes, there we go. That's it. I've waffled enough now for you guys about this. I imagine a lot of it might not make sense. Probably just ruined essentially what I'd written by going off topic a bit. But no, I hope you guys did enjoy the video today, and I do plan to keep a lot more of these coming in the future, rugby-related content. So yeah, thank you all for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, just leave it in the comments down below, and I'll keep them going. But in the meantime, thank you all for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao, ciao. Bye. Well, that was just the away days. That was the away days outro, so we're gonna scrap that. But yes, see you a lot later. Bye.